this is something I see in shops all the time. Okay. So you have an industrial printer, maybe a 3.2 meter dual roll. You're going to send a job, you're printing it, and then you realize, probably too late, way too far into an expensive media, running fast, that the color is wrong, like really wrong. And you're doing certain corporate colors and it's off. And you don't really have a process to address that. And the labor, which is your biggest expense, if you're doing cast vinyl, that's crazy expensive. And by the time you catch it and by the time you're trying to fix it, your whole day is gone. You've wasted a ton of time and labor. But more importantly, your customer is expecting that vehicle finished on Friday. Like, that's part of the deal. We're in a deadline business, inherently deadline. They have an event, that thing has to be out. That's got to be prepped for the event. The event happens on Saturday, and there's no accommodation for it. Now you have to work overtime. You make mistakes when you do things like, so now you're in this, this frustrated state. Things aren't matching. And that's where I think having a commanding control of color with software that you use regularly with confidence, and then have processes to verify before you run a big job that everything is right, is critical to success and avoiding the mistakes and downtime that really doom a company in the real world, in my opinion.
Indeed. I totally agree. I totally agree. And with PrintFactory, we've given our customer base and our potential customers essentially a proofing system, an easy to use proofing system that doesn't require a color expert to run, to drive all of their printers. Somebody pulls in the situation that you just mentioned, somebody pulls a roll off the shelf. It's a specialist media, it's a specialist mesh panel, whatever they're doing, and the profile that they built with PrintFactory was 45 days old, let's say, or 2 months old. And they're not getting that the environment's changed.
Yeah.
The environment's
the print
changed.
heads aren't where they were, especially with a thermal print head. They're going to drift a little more.
Yeah. Indeed, they might have had a print head changed, and the head voltage is not quite as it was before, and it's
exactly.
One of the heads is just slightly out of balance. With PrintFactory, we have iterative recalibration technology. So what that means is anybody in contract proofing knows exactly knows what I'm talking about. Essentially, what it does, instead of just linearizing the media profile, which pretty much all other RIPs only have, what PrintFactory does is it prints out 2/3 of color patches that we used to build the profile originally, and it compares those inside the software and adjusts. It has an iterative recalibration engine, which basically reduces the delta read differences by massaging the CMYK output values in 0.01% increments. And it does it automatically. So if you've got a handheld Spectro, yes, it might take you a little bit longer. You might have to read those patches in, and it will take you 30 minutes to bring the device back to calibration. You might be able to do it even quicker with, say, an automated Barbieri spectrophotometer. You might get the printer printing in its absolute golden state in as little as 20 minutes if it's a UV printer. You haven't got to let the charts dry, or there isn't any post-print finishing. But it gives you the ability to get that result instantly without wasting all that time, all that media, and so on, and missing your deadlines.
My friend, cheers. You've
cheers.
as a workflow guy who's accustomed to deadlines and has to get the color right and has people waiting on me, I appreciate what you built. Thank you very much for coming on Print Island. You are always welcome.